What if someone identifies as cat gender? Is it transphobic not to consider that valid? I think that transphobia and trans issues are different from otherkin or xenogender issues. You know? I think they're different things. And I know this because I know a ton of people who are totally on board with trans people and not on board with helicopter gender or whatever, okay? Now, if you want to argue it's shitty to not, like, validate xenogender people, you can do that. But I think it's inappropriate to say then that, like, you're transphobic for not doing it. You know what I mean? Because that also kind of throws trans people under the bus as well. Because the last thing I want to have to defend is people coming at me saying, hey, notice how on social media people are saying you are transphobic unless you say that people are actually helicopters. And then it's like, because 4 years ago, the argument was trans people aren't identifying as helicopters. They're doing so within the gender spectrum, non-binary, woman, man, whatever. And they're doing so for... And then, like, now we have the xenogender thing. And it's like helicopter gender, dream gender, you know? And it's like, I'm not necessarily saying that your behavior or your identification is invalid. I'm only saying that I don't think having reservations against it is the same as having reservations against trans people. And also, it doesn't escape my attention that the vast majority of xenogender stuff seems to come from teenagers on Tumblr, which suggests to me that this might not be so much a giant civil rights push as it is like just a modern political dynamic infused awkward self-recognition phase. Does that make any sense? That's not to say it's all invalid. I'm just saying. Do people using its pronouns fall in this category too? No. Pronouns are pronouns. If a person wants you to call them its or whatever, I mean, it's weird, but like, okay. I don't know. People call me Vosh. You know that's not my real name, right? I mean, my new enlightened position on almost all gender stuff is that I really don't give a fuck, you know? I do not give a shit. Like, identify as whatever, I do not give a fuck. I'm just here to preserve basic human rights. If you want to, and I want to be clear, if you identify as a helicopter or whatever, I think you're fucking weird, and I don't get it. But you have a right to be weird in a way that I don't get, okay? That's your God-given American right, okay? Now, am I going to, like, go out to bat defending the epistemic ideology behind that behavior? Maybe not, but like the worst I'll say is like, it's weird, but whatever, you know. I don't know. I don't think they're necessarily hurting anyone. Sometimes their advocacy can be harmful, though. That is true. When they conflate stuff like that with trans issues, I feel like that can be a problem. But that's not the actual behavior. That's just the way they advocate for it, and I get the similarity, at least aesthetically, so